Hi there Waltoneers, I'm Jack and this is of course DSNY Newscast, and despite the state of the world at the moment and 2020 being a massive disappointment with seemingly nothing going to plan, we've got to take our wins where we can get them. And in the case of the Enchanted Tale of Beauty and the Beast opening at Tokyo, that's a definite win for us Disney Park fans, albeit slightly delayed. As originally, this attraction was meant to open as part of Tokyo Disneyland's 37th anniversary on April 15th. But obviously with the resort closing due to the pandemic on February 29th and then later reopening on July 1st, that opening date just wasn't meant to be. But considering that all the other new ride projects have been pushed back at Disneyland and Walt Disney World, let's focus in on this much anticipated attraction for today. As you see, when this attraction was officially announced way back in 2016, it flew relatively under the radar for most Disney fans, as the construction of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge and Toy Story Land were far more important for the US Disney parks. However, all of that changed in December of 2018, when Tokyo Disney released this first look at the audio animatronic figures of Belle and the Beast, and needless to say, this project instantly grabbed the attention of all Disney park fans, for two very simple reasons. With the first being that the comparisons were obviously going to be drawn between what Walt Disney World had created to represent Beauty and the Beast, and what this new ride was aiming to do, as clearly the foundations for this new attraction were derived from the Be Our Guest restaurant concept, and then improved upon in every possible way, as oftentimes Imagineering will give the Oriental Land Company a tour of current projects or new additions to the Disney parks so that they can get a better understanding of what they would like to bring to their Disney parks in Japan. And this was clearly the case with the Oriental Land Company liking the idea of Beauty and the Beast and the Beast Castle, but instead making the notable change of fully constructing an elaborate exterior facade for the Beast Castle at a more realistic scale, instead of going in a more cost-effective direction of placing a smaller model further away and using a forced perspective illusion like we see at Walt Disney World. And the second reason why this was eagerly awaited was that it marked a distinct departure to the approach of screen-based attractions coming to the Disney parks in recent years, like Mission Breakout, Flight of Passage and Smuggler's Run. And it was not to utilise the animated face projection animatronics for animated characters, like we see in Frozen Ever After, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. And so it's for those two reasons, plus the fact that it was finally giving Beauty and the Beast its own ride-through attraction, that so many had high expectations for this project. Now obviously, with all the international travel restrictions currently imposed because of the pandemic, it makes it nearly impossible for any of us to go and experience this brand new attraction in person. However, a fellow Waltoneer and Twitter user by the name of Kaga Mickey reached out and said that they were going to be experiencing this attraction on opening day today, and they'd be happy to send along some ride footage. So a special thanks to them for helping make this video possible, and I'll be leaving a link to their Twitter below. However, don't forget that there will be spoilers ahead, so if you don't want to spoil the attraction, maybe turn off the video right now. So first of all, let's begin by talking about where this new addition really excels, and that's the attention to detail and theming, as Walt Disney Imagineering has faithfully recreated a little piece of Belle's poor provincial town, along with a Gaston's tavern and water fountain that is very similar to what can be found in the Magic Kingdom. Although where Disney World has the advantage of being able to enter Belle's cottage for the Enchanted Tales of Belle interactive experience, over in Tokyo, the cottage is just a photo opportunity. However, the area where Tokyo has completely blown Disney World out of the water is this simply awe-inspiring, elaborately themed and intricately detailed recreation of the Beast's castle, along with a hillside backdrop that is surprisingly effective at adding so much more immersion despite it only being a two-dimensional painted flat. Although this castle is much more than just a necessary way to hide the sizable show building at the back, but critically, it's the beginning of the attraction experience, as instead of just waiting in line, the queue is essential to the overall experience, similar to that of Escape from Gringotts at Universal Studios, or arguably the best queue space in any ride anywhere, with the Star Destroyer Hangar Bay from Rise of the Resistance. And the Beast Castle in Tokyo is absolutely no exception here, as Tokyo Disney and Imagineering has created a hyper-detailed attraction queue, where it begins the storytelling of that iconic movie, right from the moment that you enter through those gates. As this is not just waiting for a ride, but instead you're walking in the footsteps of Belle, through the scenes of the movie, with the hallway with the suits of armour, the fireplace den where the characters of Lumiere and Cogsworth can be seen in their static object form, to the dining room and dining table, to the castle's kitchen, which acts as the loading area, or even the main foyer, which has been recreated as the pre-show room that features 2 animatronics and a stained glass opening monologue for the attraction. Much in the same way that Belle experienced all of these moments as she explored the castle in the movie. And then the next outstanding thing about this attraction is without question the audio animatronics, as they are using the same electric actuator advancements found within animatronics such as the Na'vi River Shaman, Hondo Ohnaka, Kylo Ren and Rocket Raccoon, so that the fluidity and precision of the movement within Belle and the Beast's animatronics are extremely lifelike, despite the technology having to be able to be scaled within a smaller figure such as Belle, and yet also having to be able to power a larger figure like the Beast. But in many ways, if you've seen that sneak preview released in 2018, or seen the Imagineering story on Disney+, then you've kind of already seen these animatronics and the range of movement that they have in arguably a much better close-up view in the workshop. As for an example, these Belle and Beast audio animatronics seen here in the workshop are located on the balconies within the pre-show for the ride. But probably the most impressive of these animatronics has to be the ballroom scene of Belle and the Beast waltzing, as this is incredibly effective and yet is a seemingly simple piece of engineering, as can be seen here in this pre-visualization with the figures on a turntable, with Belle's dress hiding much of the mechanics and the fixed anchor point, whereas the Beast is harnessing power from the connection point to the dress, whilst the feet are attached to a linear platform fixed in place beneath the turntable. And then the absolutely outstanding effect of the whole ride is easily this illusion we've seen so many times before, and that is this updated Pepper's Ghost effect for the Beast's transformation scene, as it's surely using a mirrored surface combined with projections in the same technique as the Jack Sparrow animatronic from Shanghai Disneyland's Pirates of the Caribbean. But in the case of the Beast transformation, there are clearly more projections at play here to create a better illusion. But it's important to understand why so much effort has been put into producing these extremely accurate and fluid animatronics for this attraction. And that's because it's less of a ride, and instead it's more of a show experience. And so the animatronics need to be more convincing, as you're going to be spending more time in each one of the scenes with these animatronic figures. And despite the incredible attention to detail and technological advancements, it could be argued that this attraction is missing some critical components. And personally, after rewatching this ride experience many times, I feel that there are just some areas that could be improved. And I really think it's a combination of several factors that stem from one underlying problem, and that is the way that the trackless ride system has been implemented. As you see, trackless ride systems are undisputably brilliant because of their versatility to be able to create both playful and suspense-driven narratives, whilst also delivering high-capacity throughput. And in this case, Imagineering has clearly advanced the technology behind these ride vehicles, as they've really plussed the system through an additional axis of motion, where the seated area of the teacup can also spin and sway to the music independently to that of the vehicle's movements, which in the Be Our Guest scene is used to perfectly synchronize the movements to that of the music and Lumiere. But it's because of that concept of dancing to the music where the issues begin to arise for the attraction, as this objective of creating an attraction where guests can actively participate in the musical numbers by dancing and waltzing along in the scenes has also meant that there's not as much continuous forward momentum or progression throughout the show scenes, which is understandable as this attraction is pioneering an alternative to the traditional book report styled Fantasyland dark ride. But I also feel that comparisons can be made to Luigi's Rollicking Roadsters in Disney's California Adventure, as in that attraction all of the ride vehicles dance to 3 songs in various different ways and different movements. But in the case of the Enchanted Tale of Beauty and the Beast, the teacups are doing the same dance, but in 3 different themed show environments instead of being outside on a forecourt like Luigi's Rollicking Roadsters. But that's obviously where that comparison ends, as with Beauty and the Beast, there is all of this additional storytelling and also incredible theming. But it's the lack of dance variants and ride vehicle movements that also makes this attraction sort of repetitive, which isn't helped by the fact that each song is roughly around 1.5 minutes long, which ordinarily would be great. However, because this ride needed to accommodate high capacity with 6 ride vehicles per show scene or up to 60 guests, it means that there's going to be an awful lot of empty space. And even in the areas of the room where there could be more show set pieces and theming, there isn't much to look at. And an example of this is the Something There scene that just has 3 animatronics and a lot of dead space with no layered theming or extra elements to draw your attention within the room, which I think could have easily been improved either by adding birds flying around above the guests as well to add more kinetic elements, or perhaps the stages where the animatronics are could have spun around on revolving platforms and transformed the set a bit like Carousel of Progress, so that Belle and the Beast aren't just outside, but they're also eating dinner or reading in front of a fireplace like what was seen in the movie. And this vast show space is also evident in the final ballroom scene, where we only have a few animatronics, albeit with Mrs. Potts, Lumiere and Cogsworth in human form, which look absolutely incredible and have very lifelike movements. But that whole set also does feel a little sparse and empty, when it could have been filled with a lot more static townspeople around the edges of the room like what was seen in the movie. Although the Be Our Guest scene is definitely the best show scene besides that of the Beast transformation, as it makes great use of projections, interchangeable physical set pieces on the table, and also the animatronics very well, whilst also incorporating the ride vehicles in the back and forth synchronized dances to produce a kinetic energy that better matches the music. Now clearly this attraction is up there with the very best in terms of theming and technological use. However, I do feel that it could have been improved with better pacing to make it less repetitive and more compelling, and maybe it could have been served better by an omni-mover ride system like Under the Sea of the Little Mermaid. But I also feel that trackless gives so much more flexibility, and so a great example of how it could have been improved upon within the attraction is Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, where it moves in a traditional ride formation, then breaks apart, then separates into individual scenes. Then all the vehicles come together in synchronization for a dance segment before reforming a traditional ride formation. So overall, I would say that the Enchanted Tale of Beauty and the Beast did achieve exactly what it set out to do, which was to reimagine and challenge the formula of a traditional Fantasyland-style dark ride, but it goes far beyond that, as this incredible level of detail and commitment to theming integrity has set a new gold standard for what we can come to expect. And I personally can't wait to see how all of this trickles down into the Tokyo Disney Sea expansion of Fantasy Springs, which will be opening in the next couple of years. But now it's over to you, the Waltoneers. I would like to know, what are your thoughts and opinions on this brand new Beauty and the Beast attraction? And also, if you could take any animated classic and give them a true Fantasyland style e-ticket dark ride like this attraction using different types of technology, then what would it be and how would it work? And of course, don't forget to put the timestamp for where the hidden Mickey appeared somewhere in today's video, along with your suggestion or your comment, to be in with a chance to win one of these official DSNY Newscast enamel pins. And congratulations to this Waltoneer here for winning this suggestion from the previous video. And so that's it for today. So be sure to go ahead and subscribe down below if you're new to this channel. Hit that notification bell so therefore you always receive an update whenever I release a new video. And also, if you've enjoyed today's video, then be sure to give this video a massive thumbs up, as it really does help this channel out. And I've been Jack, you've been you, and I'll see you real soon.